So, we're gonna go straight into it with a summer split tier list, based entirely off of my opinions and rumors that I've heard regarding scrims. Um, so, right now, the going consensus. Actually, no, I'll go off my personal opinions as well. I'll try to limit it as much as possible, but I'm more so going off of generally what should make sense for fans and what their expectations should be. I think TL is coming first place. From what I've heard, they've been dominant in scrims. I can confirm that they've beaten C9 in scrims for sure, as well as a lot of people kind of just having expectations that they've leveled up over MSI because they didn't mental boom. They had a really strong showing at the end of it, and they had a lot of things to be proud of. That's kind of the going expectation. I would say that in second though is kind of where it gets muddy because you have three teams. I'll keep TL at S because this is a confirmed great team. The other ones are these three, and where you kind of want to mix and match and shuffle them up. I think 100 Thieves, everybody is just oh, they in scrims, they don't do this, they don't do that, but at the end of the day, they came fourth, right? It's not bad. By any metric, right? You can't say an entire regular season where you won a lot of games. I get it, the best of ones, where it ends up being they only win the first game. That just doesn't happen. You have to be better than a majority of the teams for it to get to that point. I would say that my only concern is how FlyQuest is doing, both on a mentality standpoint, and how they're meshing with Quad. I haven't heard anything about them scrims-wise. I do know that they canceled on a scrim from NRG from Travis Gafford's video that he put out not too long ago. But I won't hold that into any weight. It sounds like expectations for FlyQuest are still fairly high. I don't want to put them higher than C9. Because the thing is that C9's biggest issue, well, not the only issue, mind you, not the only issue, was that Fudge wasn't being as impactful in the top lane. Oh man, this is really weird, because I don't even think Thanatos is too much of a impact player either, right? Thanatos has always been somebody who, you can rely on to always do win lane, but that doesn't mean that he's going to have impact throughout the map. Thanatos is easily one of the best laners that was in LCKCL, but I don't think he was one of the I don't want to say he's not one of the best top laners, because that's not entirely true. He is definitely one of the best top laners, but I don't think he's the best top laner. Kind of a wordplay there, but oh man, okay, yeah, because I don't see Thanatos being the difference between C9 beating FlyQuest. Oh man, this is hard. This is difficult. It really depends on where FlyQuest lies. I don't want to go with the basic answer. Oh, I'll go like this. I'll go like this. Right? I think top 4 is kind of solidified. I think people have really high expectations for the top 4. It should remain the same. But actually, you know what I'll do? Yeah, no, this is good. I'm willing to say that TL is just a level above the next 3. I just think that they looked good in playoffs. They looked good at MSI. They might not do well in the regular season, but they never have. TL very rarely is at the top of regular season, with this current lineup. If you look at how they were last split, the split before that, they didn't perform to everybody's expectation in the regular season. I don't want that to be what you guys decide TL's form looks like. But yeah, I feel this is probably accurate. But really, the spice comes down to the bottom 4. Because you could, set really high expectations for Dig. And I know people were saying, Dig should be, here. I disagree. I don't think Dig's roster looks all that good, in my opinion. I think that people are living off the hype of, some of these players, Glory Days, and going off of that. Whereas, Spica hasn't looked good in a while. Yes, he reached top rank 1, but the problem, the difference is with Spica going and doing it, and, eggs you, all of our NACL players, like Shaden, for example, that he wasn't playing comp, right? Like, that wasn't something that he was doing on top of playing solo queue. Solo queue was all he did. You have a professional player only playing solo queue, you should hit rank 1, right? That's loud. Anyways, the point is that I think that everybody's overhyping Spica. And as much as I've openly said I like Spica, I just don't think he's the sauce. I don't think he's the secret sauce you need. Same thing with Jensen. Jensen's been on Dig forever and has constantly lost. He's lost to Spyrax too. He's lost to many mid laners in lane. Yes, he's reliable, he's stable, but the thing is that this roster doesn't need somebody stable, right? Spica, like, you do need somebody stable, actually. That's wrong. That's incorrect. But the thing is, you need somebody to have impact, and I really, like, Licorice is the only person there I see having anything close to impact, right? Man, every time I say impact, I feel like I'm talking about, like, the player impact, but I'm really talking about, like, their impact on the game state, right? We saw what Licorice could do on Golden Guardians when even Stixay, Gory, River, and the others weren't looking great, And Licorice was basically, like, solo carrying some of the games. So I think, like, Licorice is really just a key piece of Dig. And I do think that, like, Licorice will perform well. I have no doubts about that. I think he's definitely one of the better top laners we have out there. But it's just a question about, like, everybody else on the field, right? Sven hasn't played ADC in 1.5 years. Tomio is... Not Tomio, sorry. Isles is, like, okay. He's meh. I don't want to say, like, the thing is, like, you don't really get anybody better than Isles, but, like, Isles doesn't really do anything for the team. That's just my opinion, right? Like, you don't look at Isles gameplay and be like, yes, this is the difference maker, right? The same way you do for, like, Vulcan or Carria or even Missing, right? Like, Missing will go in, he'll set up his team for victory, and I just feel like Isles doesn't do that. He just does the job. He, like, you know, it reminds me of, like, what people used to say about picking Ahri, where Ahri was a job security champion. Even if Ahri wasn't good in the scenario, you will always look good playing Ahri because of just how much movement it is, how flashy it is, right? You're very rarely fucking up Ahri. And, like, you're very rarely fucking up Victor. But the thing is that I feel as though Isles picks those champions where it looks really hard to fuck up on. But that's just my opinion. I'm gonna say that it's probably gonna look something like NRG. NRG Immortals are, like, here. I know Immortals is, like, mega cursed, but from what I've heard, they look really, really good. They're winning a lot in scrims, and I think that the new best of 3 format, which, by the way, is going to make a big difference, actually. Best of 3s are going to make some teams look like just significantly better than others, because, like, think of it like this, right? Say you have a team that wins 60% of their games, right? That's a higher up team right there. Let's say Immortals is a 75% win rate team, right? There is a mathematical anomaly here where you can actually end up that, like, because it's only best of 1s, they can lose 8 games in a row. It's mathematically possible. Not saying it should happen, but it's definitely mathematically possible for a team to lose 8 times in a row, even though they have a 75% win rate. Again, obviously there's player skill to account for, stuff like that, but I think that best of 3s is really going to help Immortals, because I don't even think they're a bad roster. Like, you have Castle, you have Mask, you have Armail, and then I believe it's Tactical. Yeah, it's Tactical. I don't even think it's a bad roster. Like, in all things considered, I don't even think it's a bad roster. But I just think best of 1s is kind of, like, fucked with Immortals. Because you have players that, like, typically have, like, higher expectations on them. Or, like, really have this, like, grudge to have. Where you show up on stage, and your emotions kind of overwhelm you. And I feel like best of 3s is really going to help Immortals. And hopefully we'll see a better showing from Immortals than we normally do. Actually, wait. Speaking of which, I'm actually going to go for hot takes right now. There you go. I know that's like a massive downgrade. Actually, wait, hold on. I think this is probably more appropriate. Where it's like, I think that now that maybe we are in a situation where there are best of 3s, maybe we actually do see 100 Thieves lose more. I feel like I don't even think they're bad, but it's like maybe they lose more because it's best of 3. Because now that I think about it, the same thing can apply to 100 Thieves, where it's like you can have a 20% win rate and then just win every game of the split, right? It's possible. It's like not mathematically impossible. And the thing is, I think best of 3 really kind of tightens that gap where skill really starts to show a lot more. I'm gonna go Dig and Rebellion as the last two, and this is kind of how I feel about the situation. Actually, it feels weird. It feels weird. I always feel like it's always just Immortals at the bottom. So it's like seeing Immortals at the top. It's like your baseline, right? Your baseline if you're a good or bad team is whether or not I'm putting you above or below Immortals. But Immortals is looking so good from like what I've heard in scrims and rumors and stuff like that. That like, that it's just like a really it feels bad putting 100 Thieves below Immortals because Immortals is just mega cursed. Outside of that though, I'll say that like I have a little bit more faith in Energy. I've seen a lot of their players actually go in and put in the hours, unlike a lot of other people. I'd say probably my only question mark in the air is that like the champions that they're playing in solo queue aren't really what's going to translate to stage. And I think that's something that you actually really have to do, because like, hold on, do I have a piece of paper? Do I have Epic Pen? Do I have Epic Pen? Hold on, that's a good question. Do I have the pen thing? Pen? Is it like EpiPen? EpiPen's the medicine thing. I gotta figure out what they use to like draw it on the screen, but minor script I wrote. Anyways, think of it like this, right? Say you have like, let's say they're doing a scrim a day, right? Scrim a day, that's 3 games a day, at approximately, let's say 6 days a week. Let's be fair to them. That's 18 games. 18 games. Now let's assume that in each of those games they're playing a different jungler, right? Each of the junglers they're practicing is getting 6 games. So let's say it's like 6 games on Lee. Let's say it's 6 games on Sejuani. And 6 games on Nidalee. Now tell me, in what reality is Nidalee Lee going to be competent at 6 games per, right? So like, actually, let's go like top lane champions, right? Let's go like with what's matter on top lane, right? Right. So let's say it's Renekton, because I'm very specifically thinking about Dokla's pool here. Renekton, Ornn, so it's gonna be Renekton. Let's say it's like Renekton, Ornn. Wait, is there a way for me to like zoom in on this? That'd be really nice. Nice. Okay, I didn't know I could do that. I just made an assumption on what keybind it was and just went with it. So you have 18 games, right? 18 games of scrims. You have 6 on Renekton, 6 on Ornn, and then 6 on, let's say Camille, right? Because Camille's fairly good. Camille's fairly good at the moment, right? You have 6 on Renekton, 6 on Ornn, 6 on Camille. And then I go check your solo queue account, right? We're going with Dokla here, right? Because this is the person I'm thinking of. You have 50 games on Varus. Actually, is it more now? Actually, wait. Pro players league. Is it? Oh wait, is it? Oh no, it's deep lol. It's deep lol, no? No, it's not deep lol. I don't know. Pro players solo queue league. Lol pros. Oh my god, that feels like it should have been so obvious. Okay. Let's go with Big Dokes. Okay, we're gonna search our Big Dokes for player. Okay, wait. Energy. Is something gonna show up differently if I do energy? Yeah, fuck. Is this, does it only show up EU players? Nothing shows up. What the fuck? Okay, maybe it wasn't this. Tracking the pros? Players. I hope I can find it because I'm very specifically thinking of Dokla. Ah, there we go. Yeah, this guy's most played game, his most played champion is Varus, right? As you can see here, I wish it's shown me the amount of games. Whatever. Where does it say? Where does it say? I honestly don't Twitch clips. But yeah, okay. He's playing a large amount of games of Varus and Vayne. So let's say it's like 50 games Varus. Let's 10 games Camille. It's probably more than this, right? Like realistically, it's probably way more than this. The amount of like solo queue games. And this is probably like an average distribution of like what it looks like on like a pro player's stats. You'll never see them go like 25, 25, 25. This is probably a little bit more accurate to it. But like realistically, right? You're having 40% more games on Camille, right? 40% more games on Vayne. And what? What is that? 50 divided by 6. 83% more games. Wait, no, that's wrong. 830%. Sorry. 830% more games on Varus than Renekton, Ornn, and other champions that you're going to actually pick in top lane in a pro game. Now, if we start seeing Varus Vayne from Dokla, that'd be great, right? But that'd probably be my only concern. Like, they're definitely playing solo queue. Like, energy players are definitely playing solo queue, but it's more so just my concern of whether or not it's actually being incorporated into their drafts, right? Like, actually, let's even go to like contracts, for example. Like, are we going to see... Actually... The heck? I don't know what happened as to why it's not loading up. He's only been playing. I know Palafox hasn't. Let's see if I just switch of energy. Let's see. Okay, maybe Contracts hasn't been playing. But like FBI, are we gonna see this guy play LeBlanc? No, don't waste your time. Now again, for ADC it's a bit different because ADC is a very meta dictated role, but that's just like how it is. And then Palafox. Actually, we are going to see all these champions, right? So maybe I'm just thinking of Dokla, but the point is that energy is actually hitting solo queue, whereas I don't see as many of like Rebellion players dig. I see more NACL players in well, not me personally, but like when I watch Challenger streams, I see way more NACL players than I do pro players, right? And like way more, like it is way more often, right? And again, you are supposed to be the pinnacle, right? It's not like NACL teams scrim last. It's not like they don't put in the work, because they put in just as much work as LCS players sometimes. But it's just kind of really disappointing, because like think about it like this, right? With NACL players, NACL teams are like willing to pick up anybody, right? If you are not putting in the work in NACL, they will literally just turn around, look at OQ, and then grab somebody else instead, right? LCS teams are way less likely to do that. Which, like, that's not a bad thing. I don't think it's bad. But, like, you're kind of contract locked, so then some of these players just don't do anything. But, yeah. I'll say this is a pretty solid list. I'll be posting this on Twitter. And you guys can go ahead. It'll be actually no, it won't be in the description because I can't put links in the description yet. But yeah, that's gonna make my LCS tier list. Take it easy, guys.